They say boundaries are meant to keep things apart. But what if I told you that the most beautiful gardens aren't defined by what they keep out, but by how gracefully they invite you in? Every border tells a story. Every edge whispers of the hands that shaped it, the dreams that planted it, the seasons that weathered it into something real. Today, we're not just talking about garden borders. We're talking about creating gentle invitations for beauty to take root. Welcome back to Golden Seniors Living, dear friends. This is our quiet corner of the world where gardens grow slower, wiser, and deeper, just like we do. Here we believe that the most meaningful beauty isn't hurried or perfect. It's crafted with patience, shaped by love, and always real. In today's video, we're exploring 11 gentle ways to define your garden spaces. Ideas that won't cost you a fortune, but will give your backyard the kind of quiet elegance that money can't buy. These aren't rigid tutorials, but invitations, seeds of inspiration you can plant and grow your own way. From river stones that remember ancient streams to willow branches that dance with every breeze, we'll discover how simple materials can transform ordinary spaces into something that feels, well, magical. Especially number 7, it truly feels like nature's own secret. Before we begin our journey together, I want to thank you for being here. Every view, every gentle comment, every moment you spend with us waters a dream that keeps this little corner of the internet and my family growing. If these ideas speak to your heart today, a gentle tap on that subscribe button helps us tend this garden of inspiration together. Now let's step into something beautiful. Idea 1. The river's memory. There's something ancient about stones that have been tumbled by water for centuries. They carry the memory of every stream they've traveled, every current that shaped them smooth. When we bring them home to edge our gardens, we're not just creating borders, we're inviting those quiet stories into our own spaces. See how each stone is different, some gray as morning mist, others warm as summer earth. Notice the imperfections, the chips and worn edges that make them real. This isn't about perfection, it's about creating something that looks like it's always belonged here. Maybe you'll dig a shallow trench, maybe you won't. Maybe your stones will sit perfectly level. Maybe they'll settle into their own natural rhythm. The beauty is in letting them find their place, just like we do in life. Start with the larger ones as anchors. Let the smaller ones fill the spaces between. They know where they belong. Like the best boundaries in life, these stones don't demand attention. They simply quietly create space for beauty to flourish. Idea 2. Grandmother's teacups. Every grandmother's china cabinet holds stories, Sunday dinners, special occasions, cups that cradled conversations over decades. When those treasured pieces find new life in our gardens, they don't lose their stories, they simply begin new ones. Look at this old teacup, see how the roses on its side have faded to whispers, how the gold rim has worn thin from countless touches. These imperfections aren't flaws, they're proof of a life well lived. Now watch how the morning dew catches in the saucer, how the hen and chick's succulent seems to know it's found the perfect home. You might find your treasures at estate sales, or maybe you have some tucked away that haven't seen light in years. A gentle hole in the bottom for drainage, a whisper of gravel, some soil that smells like hope. Plant them with things that won't mind getting their roots a little cramped. Succulents, small herbs, maybe a trailing vine that will spill over like a memory. Sometimes the most beautiful chapters of our lives begin when we think the story is over. Idea 3. The Woodland Whisper. After every storm, the forest offers gifts, branches that have fulfilled their purpose in reaching toward the sky, now ready to embrace the earth. There's a quiet poetry in giving them a second chapter in our gardens. Feel this bark rough in some places, smooth where the weather has worn it gentle. See how the lichen has painted it with pale green and silver. This branch remembers wind and rain, remembers seasons of holding leaves and letting them go. Now it holds our garden beds with the same quiet strength. Choose branches that speak to you. Maybe they curve like a smile. Maybe they're straight as an honest conversation. Let them settle into the soil naturally. Stake them gently if needed. They don't need to be perfect. They just need to be real. Even when we think we've finished growing upward, we can still grow in new directions. Idea 4. The brick path memory. These bricks once held up someone's home, lined someone's walkway, weathered decades of footsteps and seasons. Now they're writing new stories, creating borders that feel like they've always been part of the landscape. Each brick is a library of stories. See the old mortar still clinging like memories. The way the color has mellowed from bright red to something softer, warmer. Some are chipped, some are perfect, but together they create something beautiful and maybe you'll lay them straight and true. Maybe you'll let them follow the natural curves of your garden. A shallow trench, a whisper of sand to help them settle. They've been patient for decades. They can wait while you find their perfect place. The strongest foundations aren't built overnight. They're laid one piece at a time with intention and care. Idea 5. The Bottle Garden Dreams. There's magic in the way light moves through colored glass. Green bottles that once held wine shared with friends. Blue ones that caught moonlight on summer porches. When we invite them into our gardens, they become prisms for joy. Watch how the morning sun turns this cobalt blue bottle into liquid sapphire. How the green ones seem to hold the essence of spring leaves. Some are perfectly clear, some are cloudy with age. Each one catches and holds light differently, like we all do. Bury them neck down in a shallow trench. Let them nestle close like old friends gathering for conversation. Mix the colors like you're painting with light. Maybe all blues here for a cool stream effect. Maybe a rainbow there for pure joy. Sometimes the most beautiful things come from giving forgotten treasures a chance to shine again. Idea 6. The Herb Spiral Embrace. What if your garden borders could feed your soul and your kitchen? What if every time you tended your edges, you were also tending your table? This is the gentle magic of living borders, boundaries that nourish. Breathe in. Do you smell the lavender's sweet dreams? The rosemary's sharp memory? The mint's bright laughter? These plants don't just create borders, they create experience. Your hands will carry their fragrance long after you've finished gardening. Choose herbs that love your climate, that speak to your kitchen dreams. Maybe Mediterranean beauties like lavender and thyme if you have sunny, dry spots. Maybe mint and parsley for shadier, damper places. Plant them like you're composing a poem, some tall, some trailing, some that flower, some that just smell like heaven. The most generous boundaries are the ones that give back, that turn everyday moments into small celebration. Idea 7. The Willow Fence Dream. This is where magic lives, in the space between dream and reality, between intention and growth. Plant willow cuttings in late winter, weave them like a basket, and watch them decide to become something extraordinary. This isn't just a board, it's a partnership with nature herself. See how the willow stems curve and bend without breaking, how they seem to know exactly where they want to go. This is living architecture, growing stronger and more beautiful with every season. The birds will nest here, the wind will sing through it, and you'll wonder if you planted it, or if it planted itself. Cut your willow in late winter when the sap is sleeping. Push the cuttings deep into moist soil. Weave them gently like you're braiding someone's hair with love. Some will take root, some won't. That's the magic. The fence will grow itself, deciding its own personality. The most beautiful boundaries aren't built, they're grown. They teach us that with patience and trust, something ordinary can become extraordinary. Idea 8. The Driftwood Journey. Every piece of driftwood carries the memory of journeys, where it started, what storms it weathered, what beaches it touched. When we bring these travelers home to our gardens, we're adding chapters to their story. Feel how smooth the ocean has made this wood, how the salt and sand have polished it to silk. See the way it curves like a wave frozen in time. This isn't just wood anymore, it's sculpture created by forces bigger than us. Let the wood tell you where it wants to go. Some pieces want to stand tall, some want to lie down and rest. Follow their natural curves. Let them create their own rhythm along your garden beds. Sometimes the most beautiful transformations happen not despite the storms we weather, but because of. Idea 9. The Tire Garden Renaissance. Who says humble beginnings can't lead to extraordinary beauty? These old tires have rolled their last miles on highways, but their journey into loveliness is just beginning. Look how this old tire has transformed, painted the color of sea glass, planted with trailing petunias that spill over like purple waterfalls. It doesn't look like a tire anymore, it looks like possibility. Choose colors that make your heart sing. Maybe soft sage green, maybe weathered blue, maybe cream like old lace. Paint them with love. Fill them with good soil, plant them with things that like to spill and trail and surprise you. The most beautiful transformations often begin with seeing possibility, where others see only the past. Idea 10. The rope in Postarmony. There's something nautical and timeless about rope. It speaks of journeys, of things held secure, of gentle strength that bends but doesn't break. When we use it to define our garden spaces, we're creating borders that feel like embraces. Feel the texture of this rope, rough in some places, smooth where hands have worn it gentle. See how it creates soft curves between the posts, never demanding attention but always quietly beautiful. It moves with the wind, shifts with the seasons, but always holds its purpose. Maybe your posts will be perfectly straight. Maybe they'll lean a little with character. Thread the rope like you're creating waves. Let it dip and rise naturally. It doesn't need to be taut as a ship's rigging. It just needs to create that gentle definition. The strongest boundaries are often the gentlest ones. They guide without forcing, define without dividing. Border idea 11. The memory stone circle. Every stone in this border has a story. This one from a mountain hike. This smooth one from a childhood beach. This speckled one from a garden that lives now only in memory. Together they create more than a border. They create a diary written in stone. See how each stone is different, yet somehow they all belong together. Like the chapters of a life, each one unique but part of a larger story. Some are rough, some are smooth, some are ordinary, some are special. But together they create something beautiful. Choose stones that speak to you, that carry memories, or simply feel right in your hand. Arrange them like you're setting a table for friends. Some big ones to anchor the conversation, smaller ones to fill the comfortable silence. The most meaningful boundaries are built, not just with materials but with memories, dreams, and the quiet intention to create something lasting and beautiful. Idea 12. The Seashell Sanctuary. Every shell whispers of ocean tides and sandy mornings, of waves that carried them home to our waiting hands. When we arrange them along our garden edges, we're bringing the sea's gentle rhythm to landlocked dream. Look at this conch shell. See how the inside glows like mother of pearl, how it holds the echo of distant shores, and these tiny periwinkles, perfect spirals no bigger than buttons, each one a masterpiece of nature's geometry. Some are whole, some are fragments, but all carry the ocean's blessing. Maybe you'll create gentle waves with larger shells as peaks and smaller ones flowing between. Let the natural curves guide you. Shells know how to nestle together. They've been practicing on beaches for centuries. A little sand beneath helps them settle, like they're still resting by the shore. Like the treasures we collect through life's journeys, shells remind us that beauty often comes to us when we're simply walking our path, eyes open to one. Idea 13. The Lavender Log Dream. When an old tree completes its skyward journey, it doesn't end, it transforms. These hollow logs become cradles for new life, garden borders that smell like summer dreams, and hum with the songs of grateful bees. Feel this bark, carved by time and weather, into something softer than when it stood tall. See how the lavender spills over the edges like purple waterfalls, how the bees seem to know they've found paradise. The wood gives the plants gentle structure while the plants give the wood renewed purpose. Choose logs that speak to your garden's story. Maybe oak for strength, maybe birch for elegance. Hollow them gently. Add drainage holes like you're creating windows for water to escape. Fill them with plants that love good drainage. Lavender, rosemary, trailing thyme that will spill like green cascades. Sometimes our greatest gifts come not from reaching higher, but from learning to hold space for others to flourish. Idea 14. The Copper Pipe Garden Symphony. There's music in metal, especially copper that has danced with rain and sun until it wears a coat of turquoise dreams. These pipes become garden symphonies, conducting the flow of beauty with curves that sing to the eye. Watch how the patina tells the story of seasons. Green where rain has kissed it most, brown where sun has painted it warm. See how the curves create rhythm along the garden bed, like a melody written in metal. This isn't harsh industrial piping. This is sculpture that happens to hold a garden. Let the copper tell you its preferred curves. It wants to flow, not fight. Create gentle waves that follow your garden's natural contour. Bury the ends deep enough to feel secure, but let most of the pipe show its beautiful transformation from bright penny copper to something that looks like it was painted by time itself. The most beautiful aging happens when we stop resisting change and start embracing the patina that life paints on our soul. Border Idea 15. The Wine Cork Memory Lane. Every cork holds the memory of a celebration, anniversaries toasted, friendships sealed, quiet evenings when good wine made ordinary moments extraordinary. Together they create borders that are really collections of joy. See the beautiful variety, some corks dark with wine stains like purple medals of honor, others pale and pristine, some stamped with vineyard names that sound like poetry. Feel their springy texture, notice how they've absorbed not just wine but the essence of celebration itself. Maybe you'll arrange them like a river of memories, or create gentle patterns that please your eye. They nestle together naturally, after all. They're used to being close, sharing space in wine cellars and kitchen drawers. A shallow trench helps them stay put, but they're so light they almost float into place. The sweetest boundaries are made from life's celebrations, reminders that beauty can be born from our happiest moments. Pressed into service one more time. Remember, dear friends, these are simply shared dreams, seeds you're welcome to plant and grow your own way. Your garden will tell you what it needs, and your heart will tell you what brings you joy. Trust both. At the end of the day, what we create isn't just borders. We create invitations for beauty to take root, for memories to grow, for our hearts to find peace in the simple act of tending something with love. Every border is a promise that this space matters, that beauty deserves a place to flourish. If any of these ideas planted a seed of inspiration in your heart today, I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. Which border spoke to you? What memories did it stir? Your stories inspire our garden too. And if you'd like to join our gentle community of garden dreamers and homemakers, that subscribe button is waiting for you like a garden gate. Step through it and let's grow something beautiful together.